Have you heard of a little thing called Discord? Well, if you haven't, let me inform you. Discord is an amazing app where you can interact with gaming communities and content creators such as myself more directly. It's an app that is just great for community building. I'm one of the owners of a Kingdom Hearts Discord server called The Union. We've been growing rapidly lately and are a little over halfway to 1,000 members. Thank you guys for that. If you don't have an account, it takes like less than a minute to make one. So create an account and join the Union Discord server today to get a chance to talk to some of the members of the community and its creators as well. I really look forward to seeing you guys there. Now let's get on with the video. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy and welcome to another video on the channel. Today guys, we're going to be talking about more Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND news and speculation. Now today I have something very interesting for you guys who weren't really following the Ultimania news that dropped shortly after Kingdom Hearts 3's release in the end of February. Now I was one of the few people on YouTube in the Kingdom Hearts community who covered a lot of the Ultimanias, and to be quite honest, I didn't cover everything. I mostly focused on the stuff that I felt like you guys would be the most interested in, and especially since at that time we didn't have a lot of information on Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND news, I didn't cover some things because I was a little skeptical on them at first. But now that we do have Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND information, a little bit that we do have regarding the contents of it, so looking back at what Nomura said in the Ultimania with Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND in mind, it's kind of made me think up of a couple things, and I'm sure you guys would find this very interesting as well. But anyways, without further delay, let's get right into it. So I'm going to be reading two specific sections of the Ultimania here in this video, and they are going to be talking heavily about Keyblade Graveyard. Now I'm going to be reading both of the quotes in full, and then I'm going to be talking about what I'm going to be focusing on. The story's endgame, where all your friends and foes gather at the Keyblade Graveyard, was a masterpiece. I know each fan has their own different beloved character, so I wanted to give each one an appropriate moment. But in the end, there was too much story that had to be told then, and I ended up being restricted to the minimum necessary to move Sora's story forward. The truth is, the Keyblade Graveyard was the toughest part I faced when writing the scenario. Shining the spotlight on each character, one by one, allows you to depict the unfolding developments with time and care. But the flow of the game requires the player to control Sora and fight battles, ideally. I should have had characters with connections fight it out one-on-one and settle things that way, but that would have required too much exposition. On the other hand, I did think of limiting the number of enemies you actually battle and finishing others with cutscenes, but it didn't feel right, which I definitely agree, because I feel like ending some battles with cutscenes or having some moments exclusively be cutscenes definitely would not have felt right, and I definitely would have been a little mad at that. At the end of deep worry and thought, I narrowed my aim and ended up with the way it is now, which prioritizes rhythm. Is work on the upcoming DLC going well? Which Nomura responds, at this point in time, I have given the staff a list of the battle elements I want to do, and they are investigating. As for additional story, I think it will mainly be expanding on the Keyblade Graveyard things I mentioned before when I talked about narrowing my aim. I do plan to complete it as soon as possible, but as we are working on it alongside preparations for the next project, I still can't tell you when to expect it to be released. For the time being, we are planning to present several pieces of content as one pack rather than release several separate things. Now, the reason I bring both of these things up, I do know that the other one I did not actually go over in a video. Now, talking about these two things, I know the other one I do not think I went over too heavily in a video, if I covered it in a video at all. I do know that the second quote I did talk about in a video though. But the reason I wanted to talk about this was because this is just showing how Nomura feels about Keyblade Graveyard himself, which is kind of funny to me because a lot of people, I feel like with Kingdom Hearts 3, some people are on the disappointed side, some people think the the game is a masterpiece, they love it. But a lot of the things that people agreed on was that Keyblade Graveyard was one of the best portions of the game, which is kind of funny because you get the impression here that Nomura feels like Keyblade Graveyard was a little bit on the rushed side, and that he had to cut a lot of content out of it. Because as he says here, the truth is the Keyblade Graveyard was the toughest part I faced when writing the scenario. And then he goes over a bunch of different ideas he had for Keyblade Graveyard, which I actually agree with him a lot on what some of the problems of those ideas are. So it definitely seems like we got the best of what we were able to get out of Keyblade Graveyard in the best game, which I still feel like was really special and really unique. Now regarding the second quote, it seems like this is going to be what the DLC is going to be focusing a lot on, which is something that I mentioned in many videos in the past, but wasn't something that was specifically stated when Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND was initially announced. But it seems like a lot of the additional final mix cutscenes for Kingdom Hearts 3 won't be in the middle of the story, beginning of the story. It seems like it's going to be a lot of padding in the Keyblade Graveyard, and I feel like that's going to be where we get a lot of our cutscenes with Xion, maybe, as Nomura mentioned before. Maybe we'll get a cutscene with Kairi and Xemnas. Maybe we get the cutscene that I really hope. This would go a long way to help her character. Maybe we get a cutscene with Kairi resisting Xemnas a little bit more. I know a lot of people would appreciate that. Or maybe we get like extended cutscenes of the Days trio being reunited, or the Birth by Sleep trio being reunited as well. Or maybe we get a cutscene with an update on what Yen, Sid, Donald, and Goofy are doing as they're fighting Heartless. I don't know, it seems like Keyblade Graveyard is going to have this big overhaul, this big expansion type of thing of an update in the Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND DLC, and that's really exciting because I feel like the end game of Kingdom Hearts 3 were some of the best parts about it, and if they can make that even better, then I'm all for it. Nomura, you can have my money. Now, it would be interesting to speculate about whether Keyblade Graveyard will have a lot of battles added to it as well. I don't feel like there's a lot of room for any extra fights in Keyblade Graveyard. For me personally, I don't see them doing that. It seems like for more of a story playthrough, they're going to be adding a lot more cutscenes, and there might not be any additional fights in the main story, and maybe that's all going to be pushed towards post-game content. But who knows though, maybe they could add limit cut episode in the middle of the game or something. I don't know. Though I don't really know. They could go whatever route they decide to go with for the DLC. I feel like no matter what though, this is going to be very interesting, and I'm very excited for what they add to Keyblade Graveyard in regards to Kingdom Hearts ReMIND, assuming these are still the plans, because this was said back in February. And it seems like Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND is going to be releasing at least by the end of the year, or at least early next year. So we don't have too long of a ways to go. Like, it's already June. E3's next week. So we're probably going to be getting a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3 news footage of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND going into that convention. And I'll be sure I'm here to cover all of it for you guys. I hope you guys found this really interesting though. I felt a need to report this to you guys to let you guys know about some of this, because I know the Ultimania for some reason was something that was very overlooked by a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans, and there's a lot of juicy information in it, and I might backtrack a little bit and cover some of the things that I didn't cover, because rereading a lot of the stuff in the Ultimanias, I found a lot of very interesting things, and it clears up quite a few things about the game, some of our questions. Nomura gives us some nice speculation going into the next saga. Overall, the Ultimania holds a lot of very interesting content in it. But just because this is me talking about Keyblade Graveyard and how that's going to be integrated into the DLC, how it's going to be upgraded, expanded, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that's going to be in the DLC. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other things as well. We're guaranteed to get whole new episodes of story in the DLC, so I'm very excited for that as well. So along with adding to the story we already have, we're going to be getting a lot of teasers towards the next saga. And I am so excited for it, man. I cannot wait. But that's going to be all for today, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like, share the video with a friend or family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red little subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.